So hi everyone, as you're joining, and some of you are on Facebook and some are joining us through Zoom. So in whichever platform you're on, just start answering the 3 questions as we're all logging in. So the questions being...
Yeah, do you want me to read them out? Because I guess people on
great.
Facebook probably can't see them, right? Okay, so number 1 is, what is your biggest aha moment throughout this week? So big, small, anything. Remember, it's all about simple steps. So just what was your biggest aha moment? 2 is, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And 3 is, which day of your cycle are you in? Are you on, if you know? And for men, you can tell us that it's Groundhog Day because every day repeats itself. And for women that are not menstruating anymore in menopause, you can either say that, or you can kind of tell us what part of the day phase that you're in.
What did you have for breakfast, Kira?
This morning, I had oatmeal with 2 tablespoons of flax seeds and some almond butter.
Nice.
What did you have?
Well, this is great to share. So sometimes I have breakfast and sometimes I'm a coffee lover, and I do the coffee with MCT, so getting those good fats in and collagen added. So I find pre-presentation that is good for me. Oh, and I had a mint, a dairy-free mint Designs for Health bar as well.
Oh, those are delicious. That's like dessert for breakfast.
Yeah. One day I had 12 of those bars in a day, just that's all I ate. I just couldn't get access to food, but anyway, it's pretty balanced in one way of the macros, not the micronutrients.
Yeah, lots of fiber.
Yeah. Great. Okay, let's get started. Day 5, we're connecting all the dots today, and we just wanted to thank everyone here for joining us on this journey. It's really, really thrown us into the pool and to swim outside of our comfort zone. We're in our comfort zone in terms of sharing all this knowledge, and it's really individual to each person, but out of our comfort zone in terms of Zoom and broadcasting to Facebook and to speaking to such a large audience. And so just, we're all in this together in every way. And so one thing that was really great to read from all the comments and emails we've been receiving is just the energy that Dr. Kira and I are sharing. And we hope it's coming across. We're passionate about this. We really connect with our clients. We love our relationships with clients and with each other, just sharing this information and just helping you build hormone harmony. So that's what we'll be really interested to read after, what your biggest and smallest aha moments have been throughout this. And remember, those small foundations build to success. And so share that with us. What are you continuing on after this challenge? And we actually, Dr. Kira, do you have anything to say about that?
I mean, it's just been, we just want to thank you guys so much for the commitment too. Like, this has been 5 hours this whole week, and for sure, just share your aha moments with us. And also please, still invite your friends to join in our little kind of hormone community that we're creating here, because everyone will still have access to all of these videos that we're kind of creating throughout the week. And again, it's about the simple steps. So even, the small aha moments that you've had that you can then integrate daily, consistently, that's where we see the growth coming in, the change.
And so just as Kira mentioned, throughout this weekend, you can still invite people in. You can share the Facebook page. You can sign up or have your friends sign up on our landing page, and then they'll be put in a sequence to receive day 1, day 2, day 3, the way you have been receiving throughout this. And so I know already I'm sharing the introduction and all 5 meetings with clients is coming up in visits. And so at any time you can jump in and receive this challenge information and go through it like homework, healthy homework. And you can repeat it too. Remember too, if you keep up the chat, the comments, the questions throughout the weekend, because we are going to be tallying points on Monday, which will be leading towards our amazing prizes that we have. So Rouge Canada has donated a red light device, which I think we've talked about light a lot, and everybody wants a red light in their home, right? Or, you know, simple step outside, but it's a really great home tool. And so drum up the chatter, share and invite a friend in, share your story, ask your question, just post, share more homework, because you may win. And the other prizes are a Dutch test. So Precision Analytical has donated a Dutch test, and then Rocky Mountain Analytical has donated a Chi test. And so, as well as a percentage discount off to all participants if you decide you would like to do a test.
And you can jump over to the Facebook page and see my red light selfie that I posted for everybody this morning.
There's a few on there. I know Jamie, who's out there in the audience, thank you for sharing that. And you can also share your step out into the sunshine light. That's great too. So I'll go into this, Kira. One body, one life. How are you nourishing your mind and body going forward? Just take this as your guiding question. Nourishment. How are you nourishing yourself every day? And
I was just going to say that just today we're going to be going through a couple of cases, and we just want to remind everybody that everything that we're sharing is for informational and educational purposes only. So we're not giving any medical advice here, but of course, if you have any questions, you can email us directly. But today we are really going to be creating your blueprint for hormone harmony.
And so I think you'll really like the cases we go through. We have a male case and a female case. So it's interesting to see the differences between the testing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. MMMs, I'm a big fan, and I see how it helps in creating a tool that you can use every day. And so we applied your homework to each of our days. I love the themes we came up with while we were creating this content. And so we're just going to recap for you the homework for each day so that you can be reminded of, you know, continue on this weekend MMMs and see how you transform. I know I've practiced this too, and it is really interesting when you set an intention at the start of the day and then you can recap it, and then it doesn't matter if you followed through or not, you're creating awareness.
Yeah, and it's the intention that's so important, like creating, you know, we all know how it is to go through your daily motions, and all of a sudden you're like, what? It's July next week. Mm-hmm. So it's about creating those daily intentions so that you're going where you want to go. And we're going to recap the homework for you, because this will give you some maybe ideas of how to continue this going forward. So for day 1, that was all about flow. And so our mindset mantra was a flow mantra. How do you get into the flow? In movement, we wanted you to go through the hormone pathway. So just show what was upstream and downstream for your hormone learning. And for the micronutrient goal, it was to get in that good fat, that cholesterol, as the building block of all of the hormones.
And then today being connect the dots, and really that energy of connecting. So your homework today will revolve around connecting and also recapping. Okay, so then let's go into the cases. We have, as I said, a male and a female case and the assessment tools. Then following this, we are going to help you create your own blueprint for hormone harmony. So let me share with you the male case. And so new share. And so we did a Dutch review, and just Kira, you can see everything on here?
Yeah, and I can also see your cursor too, just so you know.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And am I zoomed in? Mark, are you here? This is Mark's test, but he is helping me on the technical side as well. Obviously good at presentations. And, you know, Jamie made the comment that as teachers learning all of this technology, I just can't imagine. I have some friends who are teachers and they have 3 kids at home, and I don't know how they're doing it.
It's been such a learning curve with the technology, I think, for all of us this past year.
Yes, they need to attend our 5-day hormone challenge to have an hour break to help reboot and learn all of these techniques. Okay, so this client, male, he came in extremely fatigued. He's a motivated person, just a go-getter, an adventure seeker, and about I don't know how many years back now, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, he actually developed thyroid cancer, and he's in his 30s. And so this was all very new and alarming, obviously, anytime the C word is presented. And so he's definitely on the other side. He's had his thyroid removed. He's on Synthroid, and something happened in February, a significant trauma at work. And so it set up post-traumatic stress disorder in small ways, but so basically that's the flood of cortisol into your body. And afterwards, this adventure seeker, highly driven, charged person was so fatigued. So he was coming back into my office. I see his partner regularly. So this was, always trying to get our partner in, but it took him getting ultra fatigued to get him committed and coming back in. And so, he has been off work. It's been quite a stressful time. And he also, being a teacher, so through this COVID time, and he was given a completely new class, completely new age group. And so all of that just compounded. He's on Synthroid, and his TSH level is 0.4, but we're going to recap blood work. And so his Synthroid dose was decreased a dose, doesn't matter the exact. And his overall digestion is great. And so Dr. Kier, tell us about his blood work.
Yeah, so he did come in to us with some blood work already from his doctor. So from reviewing it, we saw that so they did a complete blood count, which is all the blood markers, and his white blood cells and red blood cells were actually really good. His TSH, as Dr. Tara said, I guess it had been 0.4, but now it was 0.9, which is in that good range that we kind of talked about. He had a complete thyroid panel done, as we talked about yesterday, which includes T3, T4, and the antibodies. The antibodies were all low, so that's really good. No autoimmune component there, but we had no hormones tested on blood. So that's kind of where we went in this direction with the Dutch test to get more information on the hormones.
And so he was highly motivated to get the added hormone piece. It just obviously made sense and was that next piece he needed for his understanding of fatigue. And so here were his results. So for males, I actually don't know why progesterone is not included in the assessment. I think it's important, but for some reason, men, their progesterone levels aren't tested. So from our end, we would understand your progesterone. Cortisol is certainly tested. And then remember, progesterone metabolizing into cortisol. So for males, it must be that the progesterone level on this isn't relevant to them. Okay, so the estrogen dials, just making sure you see me moving my cursor back and forth. Okay. Okay, so we see the bottom stars. So the one side, the left and the right star. So you really want to fall within the stars. And so we can see he's definitely on that lower cusp. So very low estrogen. Remember, testosterone metabolizing into estrogen. And so he could have been high testosterone here, which would be more insight too, unique to each person. But for him, he is low testosterone. And so then we also would go down and see his DHEA levels. And so for his age being between 20 to 39, so his optimal range of DHEA should be between 3,000 and 5,500. And so for his age, he's definitely below. So his shower head, where the water's coming in, he's low in that upstream adrenal substrate. That calming hormone we talked about that really sets the stage for recharging through your energized pathway, the testosterone pathway. So certainly some adrenal support will help here. And also let's go back up to his testosterone being 21 for his age. So 26 to 40, he should be between 40 and 95. So he's clearly low in testosterone. And so symptoms that may arise from this might be low energy, low drive. And as I said, he's a highly driven person. So really he came in noticing, I'm fatigued. I just feel different than I normally do. Low libido would absolutely come into play here. And just really, a feeling of disconnection can happen, which I'm sure all of us have experienced at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then let's move down to the cortisol piece here. So on the right side with the dials, again, you know that we want to be kind of in that green area. There's going to be like an optimal range there. You're kind of falling in the middle. We show metabolized cortisol on the right and then free cortisol. So basically the metabolized cortisol, that's like his total cortisol production, and then the free is what's available at the tissue level. So sometimes we'll see issues between cortisol metabolism. For him, they are balanced, those two, so that's good, but they are on the lower side.
And they're balanced. I'll just jump in. They're balanced. We know that because they're pointing in the same direction.
Yeah,
so he's making it, he's metabolizing it. Oftentimes we can see high cortisol, low metabolized cortisol, and so making it but not metabolizing. So we look at the enzyme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so exactly where they're pointing. And then on the left side, we're seeing the daily cortisol pattern, which we've talked about how we have that cortisol curve. So they tested waking and then morning and then afternoon and then night. So we actually see that the waking is pretty good. It's like middle of the range, a little bit high, but then it's that morning one. So it's really going down when that's when we want that one to be going up. And then in the afternoon and night, those are going down as they should, but they're quite on the low end. So what he might be feeling here is just that real like exhaustion, right? Because maybe he's waking up in the morning, maybe he's feeling tired, maybe he's feeling okay, but then in that mid-morning, as the day goes on, it's like just more exhaustion, not getting that bump in energy that you should feel. And again, it's good, like the cortisol levels are low at night, so it's not that flipped pattern that we sometimes see where cortisol is really high, but this could just present as like exhaustion in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. So then we'll go down the Dutch results. I don't often look at it. I mean, you look at it to see overall, okay, below, within, low, it can highlight where to look, but I really prefer looking at the graphs.
They're much more visually appealing, the dials, than like these pages with all the numbers.
Yeah. Ooh, my mouse is slowly moving down here. Okay, I'll just go there. There, that's better. And we'll shrink this down. So these are all the quadrants of, so we have our androgen quadrant, androgen, testosterones, DHEA, estrogen quadrant. What is when you have three categories? What is that? That's not a quadrant. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sorry. So just androgens, progesterone, and estrogen. No, that's why for males, there's no progesterone on here. So normally for females, there would be another section here. Okay, so this is just graphics of showing his low DHEA. This is a new measure of DHEA with the S, so it's a sulfated metabolite of DHEA. This is meaning it's crossed through the liver. And so sometimes we see changes from total DHEA to DHEAS, which will guide us to more liver support needed. His are quite comparable. Mm-hmm. And so we can see his DHEA category here. So 20 to 39, so 150 to 1500. So he's 429, still on that lower side of DHEA. And then we saw his testosterone and we looked at that range. It's just, this was a new marker on this page. Mm-hmm. We see that his androgen metabolism, so this enzyme here, is quite balanced. Some people will show high to here or low to here, and that would tell us more about symptoms like hair loss or acne or irritability, just something happening with the androgens. Do you see anything else with androgens in that you can comment on?
I think the biggest ones are the acne, the hair loss, and then the hair growth too. Mm-hmm. So like in areas, and that would be like the hair growth would be more in females. With males, it's like that male pattern baldness maybe, and then maybe some acne, and again, like the irritability and stuff like that you said too.
Yeah, great. Mm-hmm. And then estrogen, so he's across the board low for all, and really that just makes us look upstream to his testosterone. The good thing we see here is the metabolism of estrogen being quite balanced. And so he's mostly green, so that protective 2-OH type of estrogen with minimal 4-OH, 16-OH. And so that's great. And then the other thing we see for his results are, so this methylation marker, which I haven't actually, we haven't shared more information on methylation. It's just one step further to understand your ability to detox. And so we don't want to overwhelm, but it's good to learn about. And so now I will post something about methylation onto our group discussion. And that's a question you can ask about more on the weekend. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so he was quite a good methylator. So that's great. Sometimes when someone's very low methylation, it explains why they can't clear out their estrogens, and it explains other things. And then lastly, we just want to go through the neurotransmitter component of the test.
Yeah, this is cool.
And so we see for him B12, B6 within range. And then glutathione marker, so his pyroglutamate is, so maybe deficient if low or high. So he's showing on the low end of the range, but let's just skip down to this oxidative stress marker. So this is, I talked about oxidants and antioxidants in our mitochondrial day 3. And so well, actually, this is elevated to what we normally see. The lower, the better. And I would say 2 or below is ideal. And so being 4.3 and then having a glutathione marker showing low end, certainly this, we want to make sure antioxidants are in the plan, and we pick which antioxidants are most indicated for him. And we can say up here, melatonin being low, we talked a lot about melatonin's role as an antioxidant. That would absolutely be one thing here that would be highly indicated for him. And then also interesting here, dopamine, remember our buddy system. Kira, what's the buddy to estrogen?
Serotonin.
What's the buddy to progesterone?
GABA.
And what's the buddy to testosterone?
Dopamine.
Dopamine. Okay, so dopamine, he's showing very low. And so obviously affecting motivation, drive, both testosterone, dopamine being low. Let's build up the adrenal glands so we can bolster his testosterone and bolster dopamine, and he'll be right back to adventure seeking and ready for a great summer of boating down the river, right? Yeah. Actually, this person, it's so great. He and his partner, they built a boat. They built one.
Wow,
It's like a raft, and they go through the channels, the Severn channels, and went on this boat that they built. It's pretty amazing. I just love that. So back to boating. Now we'll move on to a female case. So new share, I'm getting the hang of this. Woohoo!
We're gonna do a chi test now, so it'll look a little different. But it's a similar test in terms of
I just here. Okay.
It's right there. Perfect. In terms of the dried urine.
Okay, and so I'll just give you a little bit of information about this person coming in. So female and 43, and her main goals were healthy weight loss. She was experiencing a weight loss plateau, really frustrated and feeling highly emotional about this, just stuck and not knowing what to do. And it was actually her nutritionist who sent her for additional testing to really understand the hormones. And let me expand this out.
So we had some blood work as well for her when she came in. So in this piece, we had the complete blood count, which actually showed low white blood cells. So with those, we're thinking antioxidant support, inflammatory support. Her lipids were actually really good, which is great. So cholesterol and all those levels were good. The thyroid was 2.79, which for her, which was getting a little bit on the sluggish side. So kind of just creeping up that level than what we were talking about, the 1 to 2. We had FSH and LH. Again, those are the pituitary hormones that those ones we can only test in blood, and they give an idea of the pituitary, ovarian, brain, ovarian communication. And the FSH and LH were at an optimal position, which is less than 10, but those were great, but we had none of the other hormone markers. So that's why we went on and did this chi test. So is it missing things in your slide? Or not missing, sorry, but I'm seeing a lot of boxes.
Yeah, I think it's just not, I'm not sure why it didn't convert there. It's
okay, but so, because if we look at, first when we want to look at this one, we'll just look at the top part, which is the summary. And so there's 4 dials there, and you'll see the red one. It's hard for you guys to see because the names aren't coming up. The red one is the estrogen. Then below that, I love how you're following along. Yeah, the blue one there, it's progesterone. Then beside that one is the DHEA, and then the top one is
androgens.
The androgens, exactly. Thank you. So here at the outset, what we're seeing is red indicates very high. So we're seeing very, very high estrogen. We always want the estrogen and the progesterone as well to balance out. The blue progesterone is showing low. So this is kind of one of those classic cases of estrogen dominance or just high estrogen levels. And then the androgens actually look great. So those are green, which is awesome. And then the DHEA is a little bit low too. So again, we're remembering DHEA helps to buffer stress, it's the adrenal gland support. So probably needing some adrenal gland support, and then definitely the estrogen and progesterone kind of balancing there. estrogen detoxification, to clear those estrogens out, and then building up the progesterone too.
Yeah, classic adrenal again, right? Or adrenal, mitochondrial. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
And actually, this person also was really challenged through COVID time of used to going into work every day, fast-paced dynamic at work, and now is sitting at a computer at home and just, you know, really that's mounting stress. Stress sets up estrogen dominance, right? Because stress will make you produce high cortisol. Then and there's also inflammation here. So weight challenges, definitely high inflammation. You use cortisol to put out the fire, and then you get low cortisol. So you use cortisol to put out the fire of inflammation and also stress, right? Mm-hmm. And then you call progesterone down to make more cortisol, get that glucocorticoids to send glucose and energy molecules to your cells where needed to help you manage stress. But then it sets you up to be low progesterone and low DHEA. So that high stress home mental drain and every day just coming and sitting in front of your computer by yourself really led to this this picture. The other side of it is having much more time to focus on health, slower pace, being at home, but you really want to set up those daily rhythms for health. Mm-hmm. And so in terms of her cortisol pathway as well, it's a bit low here. We want to wake with energy, but we don't see the flip, just like the other case. It didn't either. So sometimes we see a rise here and there's that backward pathway. We don't see that here, but we just see definitely low overall cortisol, which matches the above DHEA and progesterone. Mm-hmm. Then we also, this is melatonin here. So yeah, I don't know why those blocks are there. But melatonin, so she was excess melatonin. It doesn't mean melatonin is not the right thing for her to take before bed. Certainly that antioxidant component will be helpful. And it could have been that this is high because she was taking melatonin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we would also consider other antioxidants here to come in and help her overall antioxidant pathway, reduce inflammation, and just help her build up reserves, mitochondrial reserves. Okay, I think, and then I just wanted to show you this page of the chi. 1 second. So the subway map. Yeah. So it gets a little overwhelming here, but we help you. And this doesn't come through properly as well. It doesn't normally look like this on your report. But really with the chi, we're looking at color maps. And so red being high, heated, and blue being cool, deficient, heat being excess. And so these are all the estrogens here. So we definitely see a graphical representation of estrogen dominance where her testosterones are quite balanced. However, she's showing high testosterone glucuronate. So it's a metabolite of testosterone. And this would be something leading towards hair growth, irritability, acne. And in a male, that male pattern baldness. And her DHEA low and cool, and pregnenolone, progesterone low and cool. So it was represented up in the dials. And I just want to share further. Let me see where, well, I'll keep this on the back screen. Okay, so every case we do, we pull in, so it's personalized assessment and discussion. And we bring in the energetics, the really discussing mindset, movement, micronutrients, so that you can use that tool as a foundation. And so for this case, really interesting, this client came in saying, I'm feeling really discouraged, emotional, urgency, like an urgency to get healthy. She's feeling very puffy, heavy, and has weight around her abdomen. She's feeling sluggish, unmotivated, and very frustrated. So we want to acknowledge all those feelings, but we don't want to keep her stuck in that. And so I remember our consultation, it was a bit of like pushing to get out of that. And it was really good and powerful. And so we got her to really look to feeling energized, happy, confident, ease in all areas, and flow. And these were her words, right? Everybody will have their own vision. And so funny now thinking, okay, flow, and how flow was built in day one, flow, right? Understanding your flow, get into the flow of your health, your hormone balance, and be optimistic and know you're nourishing your body every day for these to come back into balance. And then the great thing is then we retest and we see the changes. So I know myself, I've done this probably 3 times, and I want to test mine at the end of the summer and see. I remember testing at a really highly stressful time, saw those markers. I want to do a treatment plan and then retest and see where my levels are at.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just so helpful when you're not feeling great, like all those first words that you used, and then you're just like, why am I feeling like this? But then when you see like your test like this, and then you're like, oh, okay, all of these red areas that are lit up, like it just gives you a bit of an understanding, and then you can come back to that grace
Yeah,
and
exactly.
compassion for yourself for understanding like why you really don't feel great. And then now you have the guiding words, and then we're going to chat about here like how to create that blueprint to help you like get there.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about too, why am I craving sugar and pasta and breads? Can't get the carb monkey off my back. Well, you know what? Maybe you're in that side of your cycle, and men too, in a day where you do actually need those carbs or more grounding foods, but you don't feel guilty about it. It's not, and you're going to better choices. So instead of going to ice cream and chocolate because you're craving, you just, sabotage. You go to, I'm going to enjoy a really nice pasta tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you fueling yourself? Yeah.
Exactly. Going back to that main question. So let's create your blueprint. What do we do? And in our initial consultation and for the purposes of what we're building here, it's your onboarding hormone consultation. We are going to really assess and investigate and get to know you, get to know your hormone rhythms, get to know all factors that are contributing to your hormones becoming imbalanced, or to inflammation rising, or to antioxidants oxidants rising, and cholesterol levels, blood sugars, all of that. We look at your family history, your medical history, your blood work, any blood work or assessment you've had to date, while also setting the stage for how you want to feel and creating action steps to get you there. And so a key action step is getting the right assessment.
Yeah. And so with the assessment, like really, the assessment for every patient is going to be different. It depends on your kind of unique circumstances that you're having, your health concerns. And then we take that kind of piece of the deep clinical dive that we take to kind of understand, okay, which pieces do we need to know? Do you have blood work already from your doctor? If not, maybe there are some blood markers that we would recommend specific for you to understand that inflammatory piece, the blood sugar balance, the lipids, the thyroid, whatever is kind of necessary to get to like the root cause of what's happening with you. Again, we have those hormone and neurotransmitter thyroid questionnaires. So sometimes we'll pull on those just to get a little bit more information in kind of figuring out what areas might need some help. And then we have the advanced assessment things, which we've talked a lot about through this program, just in terms of those urinary tests to get more of the complete hormone picture. So like the Dutch or the Chi, as well as other kind of advanced testing that we have if we think that's going to provide us a greater insight, in-depth look into what's going on in your body.
Whether we think digestive-based testing is important, or even some people heavy metal testing, but everybody is there's many options to get to the information we need. And so good, better, best, right? And really, I love how the thought of certain expenses like a car or things, they're a one-time expense that really brings you a lot of value. And so don't waste your time and money on just buying supplements, because we know that is not where magic happens. You really need to understand your body. And I would say that the mindset component is probably the most important piece. So start with that, right? And then consider the testing, because it does bring in a lot of knowledge. But don't go to testing first. We often get people calling the office saying, I just want to do my food sensitivity test, or I just want to do this. And we want to meet with them first, because maybe that's not the right test for them. And so don't just do that test and not have the right interpretation about it. Let's build your foundations. And so another key part is personalized nutrition. And here we're talking about personalized hormone balancing nutrition. And really fascinating for you to take a look at your rhythms and then match your hormones, match your exercise to that rhythm. Is there a delay happening?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I'm seeing my mouth move, and it was going behind what, okay, so good. It was moving faster. It was that dubbed TV show I'm watching. So personalized nutrition, we're going to focus on the phases of your cycle, day or a monthly cycle or menopause-based cycle. Some people want intermittent fasting, others want a paleo diet, others are vegetarian or plant-based. And so there's so much individualized work here with nutrition, but then applying that to hormone balance. And so we really pride ourselves on what we do in terms of nourishing your body first through food.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and also with the nutrition thing too, like so many people are so confused about what to eat, and there's so many kind of one size fits all like nutrition plans out there. This is the best diet for everybody, and really it really is like it's the foundation of everything. It doesn't need to be hard or anything like that, but it's just it does need to be individualized.
Yeah. And then, having the support through it too, because making these changes is not easy. And so constant support to change nutrition habits, I feel like that's the most important, and really mindset first when it comes to nutrition, because it's so easy to derail. And so I would say before even getting a diet, that mindset piece is most important, but we help you bridge that gap.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. Yeah. And then the other piece here, so we have supportive nutrient supplementation. So, you know, with supplements, like it's always about us kind of recommending what are the most like targeted supplements that are going to be individualized to you to help kind of get your body back into balance. So it's never supplements first and take so many supplements. I think a lot of people are afraid to come to naturopaths because they're afraid we're going to like take away, I don't know, their coffee, all of their treats, and then give them 1,000 supplements. But it's really not about that. It's just what are going to be like the most needle moving supplements to get your body back into balance. And it's always a specific like amount of time, like whether that's often with hormone stuff, it can take 3 to 6 months for things to balance out, maybe more, maybe less. Everything is going to be individualized, should be individualized for you in terms of the length of being on the supplements. But that's kind of how that piece can come in, as just you have that nutritional foundation foundational, and then the supplements can just kind of help get you in the right direction, nudge your body to the hormone balance.
Exactly. And it brings in micronutrient replenishment for those living in Toronto. And our office is actually at Yonge and Lawrence. I really developed a love for intravenous vitamin therapy as a tool to provide the basics of nutrition, nourishment to your cells. So it really built this love of mitochondrial health and cellular health, knowing that is the root of us, how, you know, we are made of trillions of cells all using the basics. And so IV, when we think of energy and hormone balance, the IV nutrients provide cofactors for hormones, but working on that cellular piece to stimulate healthy mitochondria, which then optimizes your hormones. So IV therapy, nutrient therapy, if you have access to it, it is a wonderful component to help you benefit from all the other changes you're doing faster. And so it props you up a bit to respond better and faster to all the other very important treatment aspects that you want to focus on. And with that micronutrient therapy or IV nutrient therapy comes hydration, and the hydration, bathing your cells in water. Talk about energy. Oftentimes people are just dehydrated. Yes. Simple, just get some chlorophyll water in your body. You're covering hydration plus greens that, you know, your mitochondria love greens and antioxidants.
Such a low-hanging fruit, the hydration piece, like, but it is hard. And especially I feel like in the last year, people are like, well, I can't be out and about and have to pee because there's no open bathrooms anywhere. So they're just not drinking the water, but it's just, yeah, very important.
But then, you know, teach your body to absorb it. Stress makes us in that sympathetic state of running, not absorbing. And so calm, nourishment, parasympathetic, absorb the water, absorb the nutrients. That's also really important. So if you're finding that you have to rush to a bathroom, work on your parasympathetic side, that rest, digest, like absorb state. We also, we do one-on-one naturopathic care, and really that one-on-one personalization is important. So what people are watching here, we're covering the masses and we're wanting to simplify it, but there's unique variables for everyone, right? And one person, it might be a mood-based hormone balance sleep concern. Another person is digestive hormone and anxiety, or I guess that's mood too, but cholesterol, right? So different pictures, and hypertension would play in, and all sorts of things. So finding your unique plan. Your neighbor will not have the same health plan as you do, or your best friend, you might have the same concerns, but same, hormone balance, but your treatment plans will be very different. Your nutrition will be very different. Your nutrients will be different.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about the individualization. And I'm sure many of us know that you had a friend that's like, I did this diet and I feel amazing and you have to do it. And then you try it and you're like, why doesn't this work for me? Because we all just are coming at it from, because like our hormones are in different places, maybe our insulin's in different places, our lifestyles are different. There's just so many factors there.
And then that group connection we really value. So everybody here and our Facebook page, and watching people's questions and comments, and we will be sharing, as I said, all of that within the people who are not on Facebook. So if you're watching this, we will be sharing all of that interaction with you. But community is so important. Build your team, build your community, like-minded, or a like-minded mission. And then guidance, therapeutic guidance, right? It's not enough to just work with your friend on a fad nutrition focus, right? You really need to have that therapeutic piece coming in for you.
Yeah, and I think on the group connection side too, like I think again, going back to the state of like our current circumstances over the last year, just realizing how much like social isolation does play in our health and our happiness, and it's the encouragement and and kind of that support, but also just that sense of community and fostering those connections with people. I think we're all realizing that's more important now than ever.
Exactly. So what does working with us look like? We have created a hormone harmony program. And so building off of the success of another program that we had through COVID, that it was, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it, because it changed my model and focus on care. And it really focused in on a 6-week period where we are with you every step of the way. And it was a small group versus, just individual plans. And so we unified people, but in a small group setting. And so we were working with them on a one-on-one, but also having group. And so this whole hormone challenge and moving it to a group side and having that Facebook interaction has been really neat to see applied to a specific topic. So it was our health sprint. It was a 6-week program. It included an initial or onboarding consult. So for new clients and existing clients, we just reset, refocused. We did 6 weeks worth of one-on-one coaching, personalized nutrition. So every week, our clients were part of this program, were receiving a nutrition plan focused on their concerns. And so for this Hormone Harmony program, it's all about the phases of your nutrition, your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol building. So we're really diving further into personal nutrition to a specific focus. And all focuses, all of the things we do have branches out to other areas. So focusing in on your hormone health, you're improving your cholesterol, you're reducing your inflammation, and you're improving your mind and mood, your sleep habits, all of that. So it was 6 weeks of personalized nutrition, one-on-one coaching. We were able to factor in the intravenous vitamin therapy weekly. We had a group meeting weekly, and then we brought in the light therapy, and everybody had a light to take home for 2 weeks of the program. And then they were able to utilize the light here. And so then what we've done with the Hormone Harmony program is we've taken out the IV component and made it across Ontario. And so anybody can work with us virtually, online, or in person. And so we do your onboarding hormone consult with us. We look at your most recent blood work. We fill in the gaps. We educate you. We guide you to where you can access certain testing. And so you have your onboarding consult, and then we create your hormone nutrition based on where you're at in your cycle. And also for menopause or for men, we would work within a day rhythm, and just overall working on mitochondrial health and just balance within a day of the testosterone, DHEA mainly, and detoxification, right? Micronutrient replenishment. And then your supportive nutrient plan, as Dr. Kira said, this is where there are certain botanicals, there's certain bioidentical hormones, there's certain cofactor baseline nutrients to take, but we don't want people overloaded with supplements. We work on the right stages needed for your mind, body, cellular nourishment. And so our nutrient plans are streamlined and focused, and they're only meant for a 6-week period, 6 to even 2 months or 3 months. You should see change within that period of time. And we want to just tell further about assessment and what we can do there. And so you go, Dr. Kira, on that.
Yeah, so the assessment piece, like we've said, it's going to be individualized for each person based on your concerns, whatever blood work you already have. And then we might recommend more blood work, or again, doing the Dutch or the Chi, if that interests you in terms of what we've been showing you in terms of the information that can show us. Just like a little bit about the test, it's a take home, like urine test. You're just kind of doing that on your own. We guide you in terms of what day to do it on, because it does depend whether you're cycling or not. So those would be, and again, we've touched on other types of testing, digestive testing and things like that, but mostly probably looking at this in terms of the hormones and any relevant blood work.
Mm-hmm. And so for those of you outside of Toronto, there are ways you can access these advanced tests, whether you go through a practitioner or not. We'll be sharing that information in the follow-up notes. And so how you can access a Dutch or a Chi, or which blood work to pursue further for your individual concerns. And so also we get in terms of our personalized nutrition, we posted a snapshot of it. So, and we shared that with you. That was mostly focused on calming, progesterone based. We didn't get into energizing just yet, but we would teach you where you are in your cycle and how to eat for your rhythms.
Mm-hmm. And the Brussels sprout recipe.
Did anybody make the Brussels sprouts?
Let us know if you made them.
I'm going to have them for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So for everybody, this is called our Hormone Harmony Blueprint. We want to help you create yours, and it does involve personal assessment with us. We want you to send us your blood work or any testing that you've had, and we would love to work with you to walk through what your personal blueprint is. And so this focused program, you will work with us one-on-one throughout a 6-week period. So you do your onboarding hormone consult, then you do a weekly consult with us remotely for those outside of Ontario, or remotely, even if you live in Toronto. So easy to implement in your day. You will then get your personalized nutrition each week, really working with you on what you've done, how to incorporate it further to actually make those nutrition changes you need to, because nutrition is first when it comes to hormone balance. It's a daily thing you do 3 to 4 to 5 times a day. So start making the right choices, and we will be with you every step of the way through that. The other piece you get is a weekly meeting with us. So this is a group meeting that we're having to everyone. We've had 600 people register for this, and hopefully more will keep participating, receiving these recordings. But we will then be having a small group of 10 to 20 people where we will be able to talk openly, sharing cases, set up steps for you to do for the week, but then reconnect with the same group the following week. And what I noticed in the hormone sprint was how powerful that community component was. Mm-hmm. People learning from each other, knowing they're not alone. There was one thought, because it ended up being a 7-day work week for me. We did the coaching component on a Sunday. And so, waking up and, I've got to do the call and be on and whatnot. And so it was a 7-day work week. There was thought of not having that component. And even for this Hormone Harmony program, and we brought it back in because it is just so important. And so you will have us with you together, Dr. Kira and myself, one-on-one and group through those 6 weeks. And so the best part about all of this is this program would normally cost $1,600. We have brought the price down for you to $797 over a 6-week time period. So then you can work with us throughout those 6 weeks. You can pay weekly. So when you divide that out into the weekly payment, it's so affordable to help you actually make the changes you need to do. And so we're passionate about this. We want to work with you. If you have any questions about the Hormone Harmony Blueprint, email us. And we're also extending an offer of a free 50-minute meeting with us to connect individually, so we can help get you started.
Yeah. And I think it's just that like individualized piece is so important, because even with the nutrition plans, like it's all about, you know, if you're like, I don't eat this and I don't eat that, like it's not the same plan that's sent to everyone. So just having that support there, this support from us, and then also the support from each other too in the group aspect. So yeah, we're really excited about this program, and hopefully you guys are too. So just send us any questions that you have at all, and we'll be happy to answer them.
There's just so much to learn when it comes to hormone balance. And even from day one of this challenge, where we had to step it back and go, whoa, that was too much for people, right? But yeah, we just want to help you integrate this knowledge. And so let's go into a bit more of nutrition wise, and this will build into what we'll send you in the follow-up notes today too, as further support. And so if you have any burning nutrition questions, ask them in the chat line, ask any questions. We'll cover some others that we've been receiving.
But there was actually a good question here just in the Q&A about receipts for insurance purposes. And yes, you are able to claim this under insurance, right? As long as your insurance, because it's a naturopathic.
Yes.
Yeah. Always check with your insurance first, but if you have naturopathic coverage. Yeah.
There was another question about, before you join the program, do you need an initial consult? No, it's part of the program. So we do your onboarding. So whether you're an existing client or a new client, you get it's an initial consult if you're new, but if you're an existing client, it's your onboarding hormone consultation. So it's about an hour to an hour and a half with us.
Yeah. So now hormone nutrition. So we've talked so much this past week about how nutrition really sets, it's the foundation of everything and the foundation from our hormone health. So we just kind of want to review some of that we've talked about. So really it's all about like that whole foods diet, right? Where we're really fueling and nourishing our cells with whole foods, really trying to minimize, you know, the processed and the packaged and the refined sugars. Of course, this isn't about like perfection and deprivation, but it's just like, how are we nourishing our body and our cells day to day? Lots of antioxidant rich foods. We've talked so much about the mitochondrial health, cellular health, and really reducing that oxidative damage in the body. So what are those antioxidant rich foods? It's the fruits, the vegetables, the colors. I always say like the more colors, the better. I'm always saying, you know, try and get a couple of vegetable servings, lunch and dinner, and a couple colors, like try to broaden out those colors that you're getting in the day. We talked about hormone loving specific foods. So we talked about getting flaxseed this week, with the flax seeds as a phytoestrogen. And then even if you can't tolerate flax seeds well, there's so many other great benefits in other seeds. So like chia seeds, hemp seeds, and then nuts have the healthy fats and things like that. And for the phytoestrogen component, even like legumes, lentils, chickpeas, and then soy products as well. And then the healthy fats is the building block of the hormones. The brassicas we talked about, so that's really about getting those estrogen detoxifying compounds that are in there. So as a recap, that's the Brussels sprouts, the cauliflower, the broccoli, the kale, the cabbage. And then lastly here, we're just talking about protein. So protein, you know, it's really a building block of immune cells. It has a role with hormones, neurotransmitters, and you can get, regardless of what your kind of diet is, whether you're plant-based or whether you eat animal, you know, there's still lots of ways to get protein. So from plant sources like beans, legumes, hemp seeds are actually a great source of protein. Nut seeds, you know, most food actually does have a protein component to it. It's just making sure that you're diversifying and getting all of those different sources.
And there may be vegetarians and vegans in the audience. And then there's also flexitarians or just meat. And so we don't want, everybody has a personal diet, and mostly plant-based is ideal, but proteins and meat-based are important too, except for if you have specific reasons for vegetarian and vegan. And the thing is, you don't want to be eating proteins in the absence of plant-based, right? You have to really boost up the plant-based because you get all those antioxidants and micronutrients from the plants, and more so vegetables and carbohydrate-based vegetables like squash and sweet potatoes, beets, you know, those are micronutrient rich. carbohydrates. So we want to minimize grain-based carbohydrates. There's absolutely so plentiful options through vegetables to get your carbs, your micronutrients, your fats, your proteins there too. But then you follow the plant-based, then you can add on red meat, fish, all of that. So people they get afraid of red meat. I often find that. And again, so apologies for anybody who here is vegetarian, vegan, but it's not about inflammatory red meat. When you eat red meat with vegetables and minimal grains and whatnot, then it's actually very balanced.
I like the idea of using meat as like the condiment to the meal. So it's not like the main, it's not your main, the main thing that you're eating. Like it's not taking over your whole meal, but it's mostly the fruits and the vegetables and the whole grains, if you tolerate those, or the slow burning carbohydrates, like the starchy vegetables that we talked about, and then the small pieces of meat. And further to what Dr. Tara is saying too, like listen to your body. Like some women really notice around that time of having their period that they really crave red meat, and it's the iron component in there. So if you do choose to have it at that time, like it can be very hormone balancing if you're just working with your cycle too, and listening to your body.
Some really great questions. So what are good foods to eat when feeling fatigued or burnt out? And so it's a balance and it's a rhythm, right? You want your root building restorative foods. And so actually one story, we didn't get to this, Kira, I had said I wanted to talk about it. So yin and yang foods. So yin foods are the nurturing, nourishing greens and root vegetables and sweet potatoes and carbohydrates more so yin building. So the progesterone side of your cycle is more yin building. And then yang foods, so energized foods would be, well, coffee's not a food, but coffee is on the yang side. Eggs are actually
like salads and raw foods
for yang.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then within that there's components, but vegetables and greens and whatnot being more yin. But yes, they're lighter, and so that has the yang component. Raw juices would be more yang, not rooting, right? They're rising. And eggs would be very hard and very yang building. And so I had one client who was having coffee and eggs for breakfast. That's all she was having, and then she was going off to a high stress, fast-paced job. It was in banking. And so it was all yang, 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 right? And so we needed to balance her with yin. We needed to, at the very least, add in some greens with her breakfast to bring in a yin component, or sweet potatoes in her breakfast, right? Yeah. And so for when you're feeling burnt out or fatigued, you need to bring in that root grounding, but you don't want to do too much, because then you'll feel sluggish, right? You also need that lighter fare of some of the salads, raw vegetables, and the juicing. And so it's really neat to consider yin and yang energy with food, and absolutely fats. You need fats. I can look back on personal times super stressed. I would just want nuts to nourish. I would be burning so much weight. I would actually drop weight, and my mom would know what was happening, that, going down, because your brain burns calories more so than your body. And so super stressed, anxious, whatever, I was just burning. And then I just wanted those heavy, fat heavy foods. So a handful of nuts, but way more. I ate a lot of nuts, and my body just wanted them. So listening to your body, getting the good fats in, getting the micronutrients would be how you eat for when you're feeling fatigued and burnt out, and definitely minimizing sugar and anything that's not going to support your body.
Yeah, anything too stimulating too. There was another question here that said, is this program right for me when I'm trying to conceive? And absolutely, because the plan would just be to make sure that everything, you need your hormones to be balanced in order to, for your fertility journey. So everything would just be customized to make sure it was aligned with your goals.
It would actually be ideal to be part of this. It would be that support through to really help you make the changes, and to feel, it's quite an unknown time when you're trying to conceive. And so just having a sounding board, having support and coaching. And that's one of the things I found in our health sprint. It was just like, I knew when I was going to see someone, and so I could hold them accountable a different way throughout that period of time. And so I found people just loved it and saw the changes, and they saw the changes in a way where it was about the foundations. Many people come into health thinking all or nothing. You know, this is the day I'm going to start. I'm going to be perfect. And you can't, you just can't. But you need to enjoy health. You need to make it fun, and you need to really start to adapt lifestyle wellness. And so in a 6-week program with us, you will do that. And so we're really excited now to take this into a hormone harmony program to really focus in on this area, because as you've seen in the questions, or the interest in this, energy, mitochondrial health, hormone balance, this is the root of everything. And so go on the journey with us to really see the changes you can make. Just jump right in. It's an unbelievable offer for you to do. And so we just, yeah. And if it's not the right thing for you, there's going to be something else but just start doing the foundations, hold yourself accountable, create a team, and, keep being part of this community in our hormone challenge community.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us over the past 5 days. It's been so great to see your commitment and see you guys posting in the Facebook group, and continue
the homework.
To post. Yeah, the homework, exactly. And continue posting, because we will be tallying all the points on Monday. So through the weekend, keep sharing your homework, keep sharing your stories. Oh yes, so here is our homework for today. So before you guys go, this is our day 5 homework for connecting the dots. So your mindsets, you're going to set your overall mindset mantra for wellness. So this can be your guiding vision. For movement, we've recapped all of the movement. So, a lot of you have loved the hot, cold showers, which is amazing. All the feedback was like, you feel so invigorated and energized for the day. So do that. Some resistance training, turn off the lights at night. Choose 1 or 2 of these things to do each day, or one. We'll start with 1 goal a day. And then the micronutrients. So what is your daily micronutrient goal for hormone health going forward? So show us your homework over the weekend. We'll be tallying all of the points on Monday, and then sharing the prize winners on Tuesday. So you can stay tuned for that.
Some examples of micronutrient goals that you could say would be, I'm going to have greens at every meal, or I'm going to have practice consistent meal times. I'm going to sit down and eat my food and focus on absorption. I'm going to incorporate more fats in my day. What else?
Brassicas.
The brassica. I'm going to really, welcome in those smashed Brussels sprouts and roasted broccoli. So good.
Yeah.
So micronutrient goal, we want to see how creative you get there. And then applying this every day. It's so simple. Your MMMs, see the transformations you make. And it'll be neat to have you share how that unfolds for you. And so we are here. We want to see your questions, and we want to keep building this community. And so over the weekend, really put this into practice. It's your transformational time to incorporate what we've talked about, the foundations.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Oh, and I have to say, no glitches.
Yeah, today was smooth sailing.
And you know what's funny? Update your computer. I had my computer person just saying, we can't have this happen again. What's going on? And it just took a reboot of just updating certain things. And so thank you, Frank, my computer person. And this was great. So yeah, we've learned on that side too. We did a mitochondrial boost to the computer.
Yeah, I was going to say, take care of your foundations, take care of your hardware. That's your body.
Clean your computer. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We will keep the conversation going. Have a great day and keep connecting.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thank you.